Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of F123 Driver Career Mode. Hope you're all having a great day. We're starting with big news. Fernando Alonso, the new championship leader, my teammate, has announced this will be his final season in Formula 1. That is right, Alonso is set to hang up the helmet at the end of the season. Very fitting for him to announce this coming into his home Grand Prix, which we now know will be for the final time here in Spain now. So it's going to be unfortunate, losing Fernando at the season's end. Of course, we're coming off of our very first win in Formula 1 in the last episode after holding off Fernando there in the Monaco Grand Prix. And of course, this Aston Martin team, we have been firing on all cylinders for about the last 3 or 4 Grand Prix, if you don't count Miami, of course, now as we would come into this Spanish Grand Prix weekend. And of course, a lot of hype around Fernando Alonso now, of course, in his final Grand Prix at his home circuit now. But for myself, we're coming off of our first win. I was thinking we were going to my home track in Montreal, but that's not the case. We still have to do Spain. Then we head to Montreal. Still, nonetheless, we're going to be going into Canada, our home Grand Prix, with a lot more momentum, of course, than we did last season. Now as a Formula 1 winner, the question is, can we keep up the pace and put the fight to Fernando in his home Grand Prix, as we have 2 back-to-back home Grand Prix for us drivers? Think about it, it's an exciting little stretch of races just in general for Aston Martin. So a home race here today for Fernando, home race for me next episode, and then we have, of course, the British Grand Prix, a home race for the team coming up as well. So it should be a fun stretch here now, and hopefully a successful stretch here as we continue in this working partnership with the Mercedes team, as we continue to try and basically, dominate the series. As you can see, we ended up P7 in FP1. We would come into qualifying and, yeah, it was a downpour. It was absolutely just chucking it out here, as if this was IRL in this current day and age, there would be no chance we would be on track, although it would be absolutely epic. But we will be on track here today in F123 in the pouring rain now. So you guys know me. This is where we excel in these conditions. Monaco, what put us in position to win the Monaco Grand Prix? A wet qualifying session that got us our second pole of the season, second career pole. Both of our poles in our career have been in the rain, so can we repeat that here today? My first lap in Q1, a bit slow, only P14. I would find about half a second, 0.6 of a second. We improved to P6, running a third lap in Q1, and we would find a huge improvement and actually go top of the board. So we're right back to the expectation, top of the board here in Q1. So very, very good looking so far as Gasly, De Vries, Stroll, Tsunoda, as well as Sargent out. Q2, same situation, lap 1 a bit off the pace here now, only going P14. However, I would continue to find improvement. We crossed the stripe, top the board again for Q2, setting us up well. 1-2 for myself and Alonso. Look at this, Perez misses Q3, so he's out in 13th place. A bit of a shock, of course, there for the Red Bull driver as Red Bull continues to pick up steam. Alex Albon again showing up, P5 currently as we head into Q number 3. Lap number 1. Now, of course, in the wet, usually the more laps you run, it just seems like the faster you get. So here we are in this first lap. Now, actually, gonna make a mistake right here on this opening lap. You'll see right there, the back end kicks out to the right, to the left. We save it. So now we have to focus in on lap 2, where another mistake. So all of a sudden, in what is looking like an easy pole in the rain conditions, has now got my back against the wall on the third lap of qualifying here. And right now, very little pace as we save it. Now we make a huge gain, so on pace pretty good right now. Can we keep it though? That's the question. A little bit wide on the apex, and there it goes again. The rear end is kicked out, and we've thrown pole chances away here in Spain, all on my own doing. So we go from being the favorite for pole to absolutely choking. My lap time would get invalidated as well. P10 is where we're going to start from Spain. Wow. Talk about choking. Leclerc, Alonso, the front row, Hamilton, Verstappen, Russell, the rest of the top 5, Albon, P7, Ocon, Bottas with great qualifying efforts as well. And for us, embarrassing. We're going to get asked about it, of course, in the pre-race here momentarily. So let's head to the grid on Sunday.
Welcome along, everyone, to sunny Spain, specifically to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. So many great moments in Formula One history have been written at this very track over the years, including Michael Schumacher's first win for Ferrari back in '96. That win was in the rain. We might have better weather here today, but we're just as overjoyed to be at the Spanish Grand Prix. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, and Fernando Alonso completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Verstappen, Russell, Sainz, Albon, Ocon, Bottas, Golden Boy, Magnussen, Oscar Piastri, Perez, Norris, Joe, Gasly, De Vries, Stroll, Tsunoda and Logan Sargent. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Gary, do you think you can recover after that rough Q3 yesterday?
Yeah, Natalie, I don't see why not. The pace in the car's there, so I'm just going to give it everything I have.
All right, thanks and good luck today.
You hear us right there with Natalie now. So we're going to be doing a soft to medium tire strategy. No threat of rain in the Grand Prix, unlike what we saw in qualifying, of course, when it was trucking it down. But everybody is starting on softs. Very straightforward as we get ready to roll.
Formation lap gets underway then, and it's going to be interesting today to see how the dry conditions can affect the lifespan of the tires. Ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
I just want to say pre-race, thank you to Fernando for everything. Obviously, I've been teammates with him very short period of time, but unbelievable icon of the sport, and hoping for a good final Spain here effort for him today.
Yep, I echo those words as well.
A shout out to Fernando Alonso. We've had our differences already as a short period of time as teammates. You think back to Baku with the contact on the final lap racing for the win, and well, he knew probably then it was his final season, so maybe why he was a little bit more aggressive for the victory. Nonetheless, work to do. P10 on the grid after just fumbling the ball in Q3. It's going to be lights out, we're racing here in the Spanish Grand Prix. It's a great launch off the grid, a terrible start for everybody in front of us, a huge start, and Sainz comes over to cover us off and shoves us right into the grass right there. Well, I turned into the grass to try and avoid him, but we ran into the back of him, so we had an absolutely insane start, and it kind of, gets ruined right there. We still gained some track position, but we definitely could have gained more if it wasn't for Sainz coming over, throwing a block right now. You can see Russell on the outside of Max Verstappen as they head through the right-hander now. Alex Albon with a heck of a qualifying effort. That was not Max Verstappen, by the way. Sorry, Sergio Perez in that Red Bull. Now, as we continue on, you can see everybody just hanging on. Verstappen's into second. So Leclerc, although he qualified on pole, down to third place here in that Ferrari now as we continue on in these opening moments of this 33-lap race. I was pretty happy being P6, as you could imagine. I got Hamilton, though, hot on my tail as we head down towards the heavy braking left-hander right there. Really awkward left-hander from myself that sets me wide on the exit. Hamilton does have a look, not really able to capitalize on it or really make anything of it now. However, Lewis would be all over the back of me on the front straightaway and through sector 1, and you're going to see him putting a lot of pressure on me through the long sweeping right-hander to a point where, look at him, he has got to run, and I think he's just really abusing the battery right now. But I said, if you got that much pace, just go. I didn't really feel confident that I had enough to hold him back at this point in time, so I let him have it. And then Russell was hot on my tail towards the end of lap 3, so I was wondering, are we really lacking pace for this Grand Prix? What's going on? Here we are, lap 4, holding off Russell, and Hamilton's on a charge, passing Ocon, passing Leclerc, who's now down to 5th. Made a mistake saying Leclerc was the one in 3rd. It was Sainz, actually, as Leclerc just had that bad of a start. Ocon with a great start, however, but we're going to go around the outside of the Frenchman. Hamilton on a massive charge. Of course, Hamilton started the year so hot, has kind of fallen a little bit as myself, Alonso, Aston Martin have kind of picked up the pace and have been able to win some races here recently now, but Hamilton showing that, he's not going to back down, and here I am on the back of Leclerc now swinging to the left side. A late move there, but it's going to get the job done here as we head down into turn 1, a little bit deep there into the corner. That might give Leclerc a chance. No, he's now under pressure from George Russell, who's going to try and go around the outside of him. He would not complete the pass then, as we would settle in to 5th place here as I'm trying to run down Hamilton, who's running down both sides, and Verstappen. Look at the track map Alonso driving away, and that was because of Verstappen and Sainz scrapping it out, and that would put Sainz and Verstappen basically on the front end of Lewis Hamilton here as we went down towards turn 1. They're side by side again up there. That not only brings Hamilton right into the mix, it brings myself, George Russell, it's going to bring Leclerc into the fight as well, and here's George right on the back of us now as we continue on through this first and opening sector here, and Russell maybe looking up the inside, going for a move here now as two teams that are supposed to work together. I felt like this was not the time to be fighting. Are we not supposed to be working together?
We'll send them a message.
You hear the brief radio conversation there. I mean, the goal of Aston Martin Mercedes is work together, and I felt like this is a moment where we need to work together to get past the Ferrari, the Red Bull of Sainz and Verstappen now, and you can see Hamilton going for it, but this is what I'm doing. I'm kind of letting Hamilton have his moment there, even backing out of it. That was more because I just didn't want to hit him. As that's happening, Lance Stroll's day is coming to an end, fellow Canadian pulling over, and you saw the smoke pouring out of the back. Day over for Stroll. So we come through to a lap later. Hamilton still behind. Now Sainz into turn 1, who had a lockup, and I got into the back of the of the Mercedes. No wing damage, thankfully. Now I'm going to put Sainz in an awkward position to where he has to back out of it, and that helps. We'll call it the alliance teammate, almost what you see in NASCAR of George Russell. That relationship is very similar to what you see with alliances in NASCAR between Mercedes and Aston Martin, of working closely together and whatnot here. Now as we continue down into turn 1, lap 13, Verstappen under a pressure from, of course, his good friend, rival of Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton goes through, down to third. I would follow through shortly after. Here we go, the inside of Verstappen. A big run both of us have on the British driver of Lewis Hamilton here. The Dutchman's going to force it around the outside, wheel to wheel, but I think Hamilton's going to have the advantage in just outright grip. Yes, he does. And we swing to the right side. Verstappen maybe wasn't ready. He turned in on us, and then I had an awkward exit. So fortunately, I stay ahead here. Get the battery down in time to where we can stay ahead. Yellow behind us. And now Nick De Vries is going to be out of the Grand Prix as well with what appears to be a mechanical failure. And look at that. De Vries has a helmet now, so finally we have entered the era where De Vries has chosen to wear protection. We come into the pits here at the end of lap 14, approaching 15 with Hamilton. Verstappen as well is going to be following us, so going to be putting on a set of medium tires here now. So Hamilton enters his box, Verstappen does as well. In we go. Softs off, mediums on, and we're going to beat Hamilton out, and so will Max Verstappen. So Hamilton loses 2 positions in the pit lane. Now, Fernando Alonso has such a massive lead, it doesn't matter what he does, he's going to be fine. He can stay out an extra 10 laps and he'll probably still come out the leader after his pit stop. He would come to the pit lane though at the end of lap 15 starting lap 16, so he comes in, it's not even going to be a contest, he's going to be way out in front of everybody. His pace today is unbelievable. Of course, fresh off the news that he is retiring at season's end, and here he is in his home Grand Prix. Look at the gap. He's already through turn 2 into turn 3. We're heading down towards turn 1. Under pressure from the Red Bull, going with the defensive inside line. Verstappen's going to go charging up the outside. This doesn't quite have enough there, so we stay ahead, and Russell and Hamilton were battling behind, but Hamilton would stay in front of his Mercedes teammate. And actually, pay attention. Hamilton's on hards, not medium, so he's going for end race pace, not earlier portion of this race pace, mid-race pace, lap 19 of 33, of course, at this point now. But we would settle into P20, but I was driving really, really hard to try and stay ahead of Verstappen, who I just could not shake, and Hamilton was getting closer to Verstappen and starting to put pressure on him a lot sooner than I expected on that hard compound tire. You can see only 0.8 of a second behind Verstappen at this point in time, 0.4 of a second behind him now as we continue on, as we are going to probably see Hamilton get past him. We would. Hamilton up into third by lap 22 of this Grand Prix. So, well, we're going to be under pressure very, very quickly from Lewis Hamilton, and it would not take long. Within the lap 23, he was all over the back of me. Russell had now gotten past Verstappen, who appears to be falling off, but Hamilton, again, like we saw in the early laps of this Grand Prix, is just all over us, and he's going to have a look, and it's very similar to earlier. I'm just going to let him have it. I just, right at this point, didn't have realistic pace to put up a fight, so we let him go, and fortunately Alonso has driven away as we're going to go through the grid.
What an incredible drive so far from Fernando Alonso. Nothing is stopping him today, and his home race magic.
Look at this though, Crofty. Russell and Owen have both got a huge run.
Look at that. What a run down towards turn 1 Owen got, and back to second he goes.
All clear of Lewis, and I don't think he even wanted to make that move. He was forced into it by Russell. Now, hold on, we've seen Lewis get Owen here before.
And look at this, another big run from Hamilton and Owen. Won't even try to defend it.
Hold on, Crofty. He keeps it on the outside this time.
Oh no, there he goes crashing. A big shunt from the Canadian as he goes off the track.
A huge error, Crofty. He'll be shaking his head over that one for a while. He'll rejoin in the 9th behind Ocon, but a rough day this has turned into for Owen.
While that happens, his teammate continues to dominate this race. How about the Williams, with a great day so far in 11th, being chased by Gasly?
Unfortunate day, however, for Bottas. He made Q3 and is now in 16th behind his teammate.
And that will wrap up a dramatic through the grid here in these final 10 laps of this Grand Prix. You saw the spin. I just simply dropped it. I screwed up on the outside there of Hamilton and down to 9th place, so the damage done. And now in these final, 9 laps of this Grand Prix, it's all about trying to hold off the McLaren of Norris and see if we can run down Ocon, who is 3.5 seconds up the road, so not unrealistic in my opinion to go run him down with the pace of this Aston Martin. I could not drive away from the McLaren. Norris was able to stay within 1 second, but I was closing in on the back of Ocon here, so I was pretty happy about that in these closing moments. Now it is what it is. What happened there is just put the head back down and focus in and, get the best result that we can out of this car. And look at this. We close right up to the back of Esteban Ocon. Now we would be within DRS range here in these final few laps of this Grand Prix. Really just a matter of time until we're going to be able to make an overtake on him here. Now within the 1 second DRS range with 3 laps to go, so it's going to come with 2 to go when we're probably going to have an opportunity to make a move. Norris still hot on my tail here, as it looks like Alonso in complete control in his home Grand Prix, hoping for no retirement for him, as we're going to go almost up the inside as I actually hit the brake and then went around the outside, caught Ocon way off guard. Up into P8 we go, and we would start the final lap here now. What could have been a podium turns into an 8th place result from my own doing, of course, now. But Fernando Alonso has had the most dominant performance we've seen from anybody in this F123 career mode so far. Already with a win this season, and fresh off of that retirement announcement news coming into his home Grand Prix, Alonso through the penultimate corner. 1 corner remains for the Spaniard, and here he comes, and he's going to continue his championship run with a win in Spain. It'll be a Hamilton and Russell 2nd and 3rd, so once again Aston Martin Mercedes doing their job, and I dropped the ball in it for sure. I think would have been a 1, 2, 3, 4 if I didn't have that spin. We round the final corner, a disappointing P8 as we cross the stripe here now. Not how we wanted to end things, of course, off of the victory for the first time in our career in the last episode in the Monaco Grand Prix, but still, what can you do? It is what it is. Hamilton, driver of the day. Let's head to the podium.
A victory for Aston Martin. The team will certainly be celebrating tonight. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, what a race. At the end of the day, it is all about raw pace, and our winner had it in spades today.
A really great day for Alonso, but you got to think, when he, Lewis Hamilton, George Russell are on the form that they are, where they just have really, really good pace each and every episode. Mistakes like what we just made there is going to play a huge difference in a role at the end of the season if we're going to have a chance to win a World Drivers' Championship in our just first season or second season of Formula One competition, of course. And we also had the tire puncture in Miami. Remember that? That costed us a massive amount of points as well there. So Miami and today are the ones we look at. The Miami one was out of our control. This one was completely in our control. So it's unfortunate, but you can see Alonso dominated everything, led every lap, did not qualify pole, but had the fastest lap point as well, so he gets a 26-point day. We'll look at how this affects the World Drivers' Championship and Constructors' standings, of course. Alonso, 23 ahead of Hamilton, 35 ahead of Russell, nearly 2 full races at 49 ahead of myself, and then Sainz, Verstappen really close together as they try to claw their way back towards us, but right now Mercedes and Aston just too strong. We'll take a look here at the Constructors as well, and currently still very close. Aston, we are ahead of Mercedes by 9 points. That'll wrap it up for me. Hopefully we can have a good run in our home Grand Prix in Montreal in the next episode. I'll see you guys then. Have a great day, everybody.